Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ulzi, and today I wanted to do a quick update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. Right now I have 5 eyeshadows in this project to work on, and the first one I want to talk about is from Milani, the Most Loved Mattes palette. I've actually got one more use out of this light dusty purple shade. This is what that one looks like. Beautiful, beautiful shade. It has one more use. I'm going to use it for the last time tomorrow, and then the names actually is written on the back. I just discovered that now. I mean, I know it does. I always forget that with these Colourpop palettes as well. But yeah, this is called Come Up Roses is the name of that shade. So yeah, I want to work on a new shade, so I'm going to use this for the last time tomorrow. Then I'm going to work on the shade I am going to roll in today instead of this. I actually reached my goal on a lot of these shades this time around. I had low expectations for myself. There's 2 shades that I only have a usage goal of 3 on because they were challenging shades for me to use. They're both from the Tati palette. I actually had 3 shades from the Tati palette this time. So I have this brown glitter shade. I have this matte shade with some sparkles in it. I discovered pretty quickly that this is a very low pigmented, bad eyeshadow that I was surprised was as bad as it was, because a lot of these shades are so pigmented that you have to be careful when applying them. But this one I was really disappointed in. But both of these shades, the glitter one and the matte black one with sparkles, I had 3 uses, or a usage goal of 3 on. And then I had this orangey matte shade with some sparkles. I have 20 uses on. So here's a close-up of that shade, the glitter, and then we have the black shade right here. And then we have the orange shade right here. So I did reach my usage goal on the glitter and the black shade, which was 3. I didn't really love using either of them. And then I have only used the orange shade 5 times, so I still have 15 uses left on that one. But I'm happy I managed to reach my goal on these 2 shades that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, the glitter is not too bad, but when I first got the palette, they were pretty good. The best glitters I've ever tried. But I've had this palette now for several years. I think, did this come out in 2019 maybe? I believe so. I'm just gonna check on my makeup inventory list. Yes, so I got the Tati palette in December of 2019. It is becoming a very old palette, and you can definitely tell that by using the glitters. It has dried out quite a bit, and you can't really apply a good even layer on the lid. You have to build it quite a bit. It's difficult to work with. Don't love it at all. My experience with the orange shade that I've been working on, it's a beautiful shade, but it's the exact same shade as this one. I know that there's some sparkles in there, but you can't really, it doesn't really transfer at all. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 sparkles on the eyelid, and that's it. So they're just, all of these shades are just practically the same shades, like all of these duos right here. And that makes the whole palette a little bit, what is it called? Redundant? It's just, there's just a lot of these shades that I could do without. I feel like I don't need all these glitters. Maybe one glitter would be good, because that way I think I would have reached for that one good glitter more than having all of these glitters. I'm just not a glitter person. I think my favorite glitter is probably one of these two. But don't get me wrong, they're good glitters if you like glitters, but I'm not a fan, and especially now that they're starting to really dry out, I don't care for them anymore. So I feel like if I only had this row of metallics, which are beautiful metallics, they're amazing, and then just one row of these mattes, that would be great. And then just one or two glitters. That would be a much better palette for me, but I just feel like there's so many shades that I don't really need, because they're exactly the same shades as the other ones here, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this in my project because of this orange shade. I have 15 uses left out of, and that is actually the only shade I'm gonna keep in. I'm gonna roll in 4 new shades today, so that's exciting. And so next up we have the Colourpop You Have Me at Hello. Usage goal is 20 uses, and I managed today to reach my goal on that one. So we have that matte brown right here that I was working on. This is what that one looks like. This one also has shade names on the back. Pulling Strings is the name of that eyeshadow. It's a beautiful, more warm eyeshadow, I would say. I tend to see colors differently than a lot of other YouTubers, but for me, this is a cool brown and this is a warmer brown. But I could be wrong. It's very easy to use, blendable. It has lots of pigment, even though this is an old eyeshadow palette from 2018 is when I got it. But I did manage to create some beautiful looks with this palette. It's right up my alley, and I kind of got reminded why I even got this palette in the first place, why I love it so much. It really has the mixture of all my favorite shades to put on my lids. It has those movie shades, it has some golden shades, even some rose gold, and that beautiful taupe. Just everything I love in eyeshadows. So yeah, just an amazing palette all around. And those were all the eyeshadows I've been working on. I've also had some singles that I have incorporated with these eyeshadows in the looks that I've created. The gold eyeshadow, I have 13 uses on so far. It's the only single eyeshadow that I'm tracking this year. And then I chose the Inglot Trio and this Nabla Ground State eyeshadow, and then Hot Makeup, this beautiful taupey eyeshadow. It's beautiful on the lids, it's beautiful in the inner corner. Love this shade. And then Nutty from Wet n Wild is the last one I have had in my makeup bag. I thought I hadn't created many eyeshadow looks this month because I feel like I've been quite boring and I've done sort of the same looks over and over again. But as I'm looking through them, I do have a few that I would like to show you. I mean, they're very similar, yes, but I still really like them. So the first one, the Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner is used, the Milani palette, the Nabla eyeshadow, the Ground State, and You Had Me at Hello, the Colourpop palette. Turned out to be a really beautiful rosy, purpley makeup look. I'm gonna go really quickly through these because there's so many. This eyeshadow look, I did use Nutty on the lids in collab with the Colourpop eyeshadow palette, and then Hot Makeup, that beautiful single eyeshadow in the inner corner. This eyeshadow look was very simple. I just did the matte brown eyeshadow from Colourpop on the lid, and I used the green cream eyeshadow that I have from BeautyAct on my lower lash line, and that was it. Again, I only used the Colourpop palette. I again used that brown shade with the rosy gold shade and some of the purples. It looks more pinkish, but it really is purple in real life. Same kind of look really with this eyeshadow look. I only used the Colourpop palette again with this one as well. But I also used that gold shade on the lid. Okay, in this eyeshadow look, I used a lot of eyeshadows or different, again, the green eyeshadow from cream eyeshadow from BeautyAct, the Colourpop palette, the Milani palette, and then the Hot Makeup single eyeshadow. It can be kind of difficult to mix cool and warm tones like I did here. A lot of the times I fail, but I feel like this turned out pretty good. Yeah, and that was all. We're gonna get into the Pretty Random app and choose 4 new shades to work on. This is very exciting. So we have 1 through 209. 161. Let me get a pen. All right, 161. Okay. 168. 32. And 85. Okay, I just realized I didn't hit record after picking up my shades, so let's see. Where was I? Okay, I'm just gonna go through the eyeshadows once more. I picked 2 shades that were very similar. Again, I picked a shade from the Colourpop You Had Me at Hello. This is a very beautiful shade. This is a more warmer champagne shade. I want to do a usage goal of 20 on this one. I do not mind at all using this more for the coming weeks, but I also picked an eyeshadow that is very similar to that one, and for that reason I'm going to use this 10 times. This is from BeautyAct, and this is a little bit of a cooler toned champagne shade, but they still are very similar. You can see them swatched right here. And as you can see, these are all the shades that I'm going to be working on for the next weeks, and they go so well together. I can't wait to get some use out of these. I love them all so much. So 10 uses on this one. I still have 1 more use out of the Milani shade. That won't be a problem to reach my goal on. I'm going to use that first thing tomorrow. And then we have I've already worked on this Huda Nude palette in this project earlier this year, but this time I'm going to be working on the Spanked shade. This is a matte, almost cerise-like rosy pink purple shade. I hope you can see it right there. Very pigmented, beautiful shade. Cannot wait to get some more use out of this eyeshadow palette as well. Such a beautiful palette to use in the spring. And then lastly, we have the Anastasia Norvina palette. It is the shade called Rose Gold. So the bottom one right here. And this is the shade I'm going to be working on. And like I talked about when I wasn't hitting record, this, I'm glad I'm going to be rolling it into my project because first of all, it's a great spring palette, but second of all, I tend to use this once and then put it back into my collection because I don't get the vibe. I feel like a lot of these eyeshadows doesn't really work with my undertone. It looks a little bit off when I use this eyeshadow palette. I'm not always very happy with the results. And also, it has so much fallout, so I feel like these eyeshadows are a bit hard to work with. So another reason why I don't tend to grab for these. But now I have to push myself. I'm gonna do a 20 usage goal on this eyeshadow as well. So all of them, 20 uses, except from the one in the BeautyAct palette, which is going to be 10 uses, and then one more use from the Milani eyeshadow palette. And then instead of using or complementing these eyeshadows from these palettes with my single eyeshadows, because I want to get some more use out of those as well, I tend to pick some shades to focus on. I'm not going to do that this time around. I have decided to pick this eyeshadow palette from BeautyBay called Pastels. It's the perfect time of the year to use this. I feel like it's the only time of the year to use these beautiful pastel shades. I've already hit pan on 2 of these shades, and yeah, I've just been hoping that this would be picked into my project, but since it wasn't, I'm just going to use these eyeshadows instead of some of my singles this time around and make sure to get some use out of these. I've been really missing this eyeshadow palette, so I'm going to swatch these eyeshadows next to my project eyeshadows as well, just so you can get an idea of what shadows I'm going to be working on, and if they work with the eyeshadows in the project. I don't think all of them do, but I just want to get some use out of these. So here you go. Lots of beautiful pastels. I'm sure I can make some fun spring looks with these. That is all. I hope I got everything. So happy that you took some time off your day and to watch this video. Thank you so much for that, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!